Hi, my name's Jeff Cook. I'm a G4 guitar teacher in Perth, Western Australia. Now today I want to talk to you about a couple of Les Paul style guitars. One is an Epiphone Les Paul, which we all probably know pretty well, and the other one is an Artist Les Paul style guitar. Now, artists are based in Sydney, obviously Australia again. And I wanted to compare these two guitars. Now, obviously, the Epiphone Les Paul has a heritage because the company is owned by Gibson, which gives them, of course, the right to pretty much exactly duplicate the Gibsons in almost every detail. Most notable difference with the Epiphones is, of course, the headstock shape and the name, the logo. Okay, now this is a pretty nice example of an Epiphone Les Paul. This is the 1960 Tribute Plus model. It's got a couple of differences from the standard Epiphone Les Paul. First one is the pickups, the most important one in my opinion. It has genuine Gibson USA pickups. These are Gibson patent applied for 57 replicas, so they're a replica of the 1957 pickups. Which does make a big difference to the sound. Another biggie on this one is what you'd normally consider a coil tap. Actually, I'm told that it's a switch between parallel and series wiring on the pickups. But effectively, it gives you more of a Fender-y kind of sound. Obviously, it's never going to sound like a Fender, but it certainly does give more variety of sound. So you've got that on the neck pickup, and you've got that on the bridge pickup. Again, one of the important things on this. Also, another good feature on this is locking tuning pegs. That means that once you've fitted your string, you can lock it in place so that the strings don't slip. A big advantage when you're trying to keep the thing in tune playing live or anything like that. So, that's the Epiphone Les Paul. Okay. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Epiphone Les Paul has a list price of roughly $1,400, as I believe, in Australia. The guitar, which I'm comparing it to, has a list price of $399. Call it $400 if you like. But either way, it's a lot cheaper. Now, you can pick up the Epiphone for around $750 to $800, but that's still around about double the price of this. So, what's the difference? Okay. Now, pickup-wise, this obviously doesn't have the Gibson pickups on it, but it does have Wilkinson pickups. Wilkinson are really good. They're excellent value for money, and these do produce a big tone, but we'll see that later when I actually plug this in. Again, we've got locking tuning pegs here. Okay? So, again, adds to the tuning stability. We've also got a bone nut. Artists do make a cheaper model of this Les Paul style guitar, which is the LP60. This is the LP59. Okay, so this is roughly meant to approximate a 59 Les Paul. So a bone nut. It's got brass saddles. Again, this is an improvement on the LP60 model that they do. And again, it adds to the sustain and overall, power of the sound. Okay, the one thing this doesn't have, that the Epiphone does have, is the coil tap or parallel series switching. So the versatility isn't quite as great as it would be on this, but I suppose you could fit that later if you really wanted to go that far. Okay, and for $400, bear in mind you're getting a very cheap guitar that does a lot of things. Okay, so what's the difference in sound? This is the acid test, of course. Okay, let's go to sound. Okay, we're going to start with clean sounds on the neck pickup. I'm starting with the Artist guitar. We're going to go swap between the two all the time so that you can see exactly what the difference is in tone. Okay, I've got this running clean through a Marshall JCM 2000. No effects added, because we want to listen to the actual tone of the guitar itself and nothing else. Okay, this is what it sounds like on the neck pickup. Okay, let's try the Epiphone Les Paul. Okay, first things we notice there is the Epiphone Les Paul is just a little bit deeper, a little bit bassier, a bit more richness. I think that's really the Gibson pickups that are doing that. That's not to say that the artist isn't good, because it is. Okay, here's the one thing that the Epiphone can't do. That's the coil tap, the series parallel switch. So we do the same thing with that in. Okay, and that's a kind of more, a little bit more Fendery in tone, a bit thinner sounding. Okay, right, now we're going to go to both pickups on. I'll start with the artist again. A bit more funky in that sound. Let's try it with the Les Paul, the Epiphone Les Paul. On that one, the Epiphone is actually a little bit harsher. We can take that down a little bit by tapping the coils there. So again, this one wins on versatility, but it depends on the tone that you like. We're getting a kind of mellower tone so far out of the artist guitar. Okay, let's go for the treble pickup, the bridge pickup. Here's the artist on the bridge pickup. Clean on the bridge pickup was never my favourite sound on a Les Paul anyway. I have a feeling that the bridge pickup was really made for lead guitar solos, so, you know. But it depends how you want to go. A little bit of crunch on that. And that's where the sound lies on that pickup. Probably quite good if you want to do country, that kind of thing, but again, not my bag really. But a range of versatile tones. Once again, we have the coil tap here. Again, it gives you more of that kind of country kind of chicken picking kind of feeling going on with that one. Okay, let's turn to the really dirty settings now. Let's crank it up a little bit. So, here we go. Okay, that's pretty meaty if you want to do Gary Moore. It's pretty much there, okay? So that's good. Okay, we're going to go for the same setting on the Epiphone Les Paul. Let's try and do the same Gary Moore kind of thing. Yeah, okay, got that wrong. Okay, just to make sure that we know where the note is. Again, a nice beefy tone. Yeah, and it all sounds good so far. Slight difference between the Epiphone and the Artist, I think, at this point. I think the Epiphone just has a very slight edge, but again, we're talking about double the price. Let's try the same thing. We'll go to the Epiphone this time on the bridge pickup. This is the classic rock tone. So in conclusion, at the end of the day, we've got two great guitars here. The Artist is an absolute steal at $399. It's pretty close in terms of sound to the Epiphone Les Paul. It may not beat it, but we're talking again double the price. There's actually room for both of these guitars because this one has a slightly different tone. This is a little bit more mellow than the Epiphone Les Paul. The Epiphone Les Paul, I think you could say, has a slightly more modern tone. Maybe a little bit more gain, but not by much. They're both excellent guitars. So really, I'd like to buy both of them. In fact, I did. So, you know, there we go. That's my 10 pence about that one.